planning focus,
Correct.
when we are planning this, then is it possible that we can re-estimate it, or?
So we generally don't encourage that re-estimation. We generally don't encourage that because that will all be taken in the retrospective. See, if certain things, if we say, okay, we estimated so much, we couldn't commit, we will move it to the next iteration, but we generally don't estimate, and this point will be discussed in the retrospective as to why we missed it, basically. So unless it is something business critical, we want to do a point release, we don't re-estimate and continue working on it because it's kind of time boxed, so we have to finish. See, so as an agile team, we don't speak about individuals. It's always it's always team, right? So even when you estimate for a size. You don't say, okay, it will take so many hours. We do relative sizing. You only size the work. You don't say it's going to take so many hours for, say, a 7-year experienced person or a 10-year we don't do that. See, there will be offsets. See, some stories you might estimate that might, you might finish it early, and in another story you might stretch a little bit. It offsets as a release because we are talking about capacity, not as an individual story. So when you do like that, it offsets, and it basically improves. It improves. Yeah, I'm just going to go over a few things that probably will answer your question.
Does it not give
of the anti-sense transcript, and then what we did was we gave an anti to the anti-sense, and we gave a heat shock. So if that happens, then in response to heat shock, the gene should not be downregulated, and that is what we observed. And we did all those control experiments which are asked for this because the reviewer really made us do all these experiments. And also what we found was there were many new processes which were present when we mapped all these transcripts which
have been doing so far. So we set that as a defined velocity. Then we wanted to do some variations to the planning poker. So what we did, like I explained before, we include the test team also to be part of our estimation process, where a QA manager or a QA lead will add on to their estimates after the development team estimates. And Fibonacci series, like I said, the deck of cards usually has a different set of numbers. There will be linear scale also. Some people use linear scale 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And some also use t-shirt sizes like small, medium, large, XL, basically relative sizing. And we also, and there is also Fibonacci series. So this is very popular, Fibonacci series, primarily because this basically restricts you to create a story which is humongous. See, if the first 4 are primary numbers, right, and the order of magnitude also increases. So when you use a linear scale 1, 2, 3, 4, for Fibonacci, it is already 1, 3, 5, 8. So, the relative sizing is more. So, order of magnitude in Fibonacci is more. So, we don't want any story, from our project perspective, we do not want any story to cross over 10 points, which is basically our 2-week iteration, 2-week cycle for sprint. So, that's why we thought Fibonacci works very well because you can restrict your story size. And then generally in planning poker, they also allow a question mark card. Like say, people were asking, if I don't know, how can I estimate? So question mark. We said, no, don't do that. We want everybody to estimate. You estimate and we will see how, you say something. We want people to speak out, say something, give your estimate. If it's wrong, it's okay. You give your explanation part and we will correct you. And then your estimation confidence will increase going forward. And then if there are like small variances in the estimate, say like a 2 and a 3, we don't debate about why you have a 2, why we have a 3. We discuss, we debate it, but we don't go for a revote. We agree because it's a small variance, so we don't go for a revote. And we agree and we fold the cards. And then the thing is limiting the discussion because we are trying to get the sizing of the project. We are not accurately estimating. We are getting a ballpark estimate. So if you have like 10 to 15 stories, you don't want to end up estimating the whole day. So you have a limitation. You know where to cut off. So that will be the role of the moderator. You get all the information, but don't go deep into the technical point on how you will implement it. It's all about requirements. So we will limit that one into, say, 2-3 minutes, based on, we let like 5 minutes for the discussion to happen, the requirements discussion. All right, have like what, 5 minutes? 5 minutes? Time's up? Oh dear. Actually, we had a questions we had. I'll just quickly run by, can I have 5 minutes? I'll just quickly run by the data points. I'll just go real quick. Sorry about that. But I just want to get the message across so that you guys got that, right? What it is about. So we wanted to measure. So if you introduce new process, we want to measure whether it's working for you. So for that, we wanted to analyze what the factors could, because we are comparing A to B. A is our unstructured process, B now is the planning poker. So you should have a common platform, right? You should compare apples to apples. So we wanted to analyze what are the factors that would impact the criteria, the comparison, what are the factors would not impact, and we studied the data, and we wanted to track the velocity, whatever we deliver. So just quickly go over the headers. Here, we thought, these factors will not impact our results because project priorities, for both the process, it was the same set of project priorities. We had similar time to market and same flexibility in scope. And then recording of data, we use Jira, so there's no discrepancy in the recording of actuals. And then project member skills. So we had the same set of team before and after, so in terms of competency or anything, nothing changed. And then what we thought could impact the result was the story size. So, though we try to limit to a smaller story size, we thought the size could impact because there's no guarantee that between the two processes the size is going to be the same, and then experience with similar task. Because though we are maintenance project, we know the system very well, but there were few things where in terms of functionality or in terms of technology, there were some differences. So just a quick, I won't spend much time here, but from our analysis and recording of data, what we found was a task, small task with prior experience, large task with prior experience, if you see the estimation error in planning poker were considerably low. And then likewise, whenever we do not have experience, the margin was big enough. Just summarizing the same thing here. Sorry, I'm just running out of time. So basically the conclusion we drew from our analysis is planning poker works very well, or it's more accurate when you have experience with the system, and it is less accurate when you don't have experience with the system. The possible reasons why it's less accurate is, people tend to overestimate, or they think, okay, fine, this is, everybody thinks on the same line when you don't know anything, right? Whether you are an SME or not an SME, when it is all same, it is basically, just 2 minutes more, I'm just winding up. So this is the comparison. If you see here, we have in estimation planning poker, we kind of, though there were little bit estimation errors, we kind of had a predictable velocity. All right, so final takeaways, just summarizing them. So basically leverage the collective wisdom of the whole team, and then ensure that your team knows what behavior could ruin the planning poker, and it's fun. Right? Thank you.
Thanks, Radhika, for the wonderful session.
Thank you.
Now we have Mahesh from Mahindra Comviva.
Can you hear me? Very good afternoon. Myself, Mahesh VG, working with Mahindra Comviva for the past 10 years. Rather, it was not Mahindra Comviva then. In fact, we started in a small garage company. It used to be in this Bellary Road. It used to be called a small company, Jatayu then. It got acquired, and today we are part of a Mahindra group. Earlier, we used to be part of Bharti group. So primarily, I call myself as a software developer or a software craftsman. This is a designation given in the industry to me called as technical manager. Okay. So before I start about how do we build and sustain agile teams, I have a couple of questions to all of you. So first question, how many of you are really agile? You believe you are 100% agile? Okay. How many of you think that We are on the process of becoming agile. We are becoming agile. Okay, very good. Okay, how many of you think that we are clueless where we are? Thank you. I used to be in this state in 2008. So if I divide my career in a span of 5 years each, in the last 10 years, first 5 years I would call myself as a journey from, there is a very beautiful book, Journey of Pragmatic Programmer. Okay, so it used to be that. Then later when I start working with the teams, then it's more about being productivity, generating value to the customers. Agility is all about generating value. So what I would be covering today is very specifically this slide. So you have a railway track, just say one side saying a non-agile team and the other one being the agile team. So building agile teams, it looks linear here. How many of you think your journey was like this? Those who said we are truly agile. Some of you said you're agile, and all of a sudden, like big organization, they spend a lot of money and there will be a lot of sessions. They'll send you to conferences, you'll attend conferences, you'll go back and you'll do in-house training and you'll say, my teams are agile now. It's not really practical. So in fact, having come from a company which grew in small stages, we are very cautious about the way we spend money. How many of you use many commercial tools here? Anybody uses commercial tools on agile? You spend? Okay. How many of you have a startup? Anybody is running their own startup? Okay. When I say startup, are you generating software? Are you creating software? Do you have a software shop? Anybody? Okay. Maybe you might create once you go through this. Okay. So building agile teams, at least my experience, has been non-linear. At times it has been linear based on the kind of people I get, because agility is all about working with people. The kind of people you have in the team, at times it is very easy to have or create an agile team. At times it is very difficult. In fact, we have teams which are in Bangalore, which are in Gurgaon, which are in Mumbai. So which one do you think will be very easy to work with? Which one will get translated to Scrum team faster? Bangalore. See, some of you already have formed your own stuff, like with your experience, which will be the one which will become very faster, converted into a Scrum team, right? So once they become Scrum, or say, let's say Agile Scrum is one part, once the team claims it is Agile, does it really sustain to be there? How often you think the team sustain that agility? I have been often on the other side of the track, as well as have fallen down at the same speed at which I had gone to the agility team. It is when you have the team members, you formed a new team, you formed it, they sustained, they produced result, suddenly they got better offers. There are a lot more companies, and the moment you have powerful words like TDD, FDD, BDD in your resumes, you're taken out. You get a lot more better offers. Then you get a new fresh engineers into the tube, okay, whom again will go through this culture of training the agility and all. So again, building a team is going to take a lot more time. So in fact, I have done around 10 to 15 exercises with the different teams within the organization. Okay, so sustaining agility is really a challenging one. Most of you would say, okay, we are agile today, but really sustaining agile requires a lot more motivated individuals and technical excellence going beyond people. Okay, so I just have 5 key takeaways from this session. The first one starts with understanding the context of operation. In fact, one of the sessions in the measurement metrics, he really mentioned understand your context. Okay, most of us attend the sessions like this. In fact, I attended several of the gatherings, I gave talks. What I usually look for is, what can I go back to my organization and apply from very next day? Is there something that I can take forward from here? It's all beautiful to sit here, listen, hear, a lot of coaches coming and talking about their experiences, their transformation things. What is one thing that me sitting in this conference can take back and apply it immediately the next day? So if you see, first you need to understand the context of operation. Is there a need for being agile in your organization? If you're really doing well, your customers are happy, irrespective of what you're following, it's waterfall, agile, whatever, if it is working for you, I would say please continue, because you're generating value for your customer. If not, how agile or non-agile are we today? You need to measure. How do you measure our progress? So understanding context of operation becomes very important. Okay, so coming back to Mahindra Comviva, okay, we as an organization, primarily each one of you sitting here, knowingly or unknowingly, are our customers. Facebook has a face, Flipkart has a face, eBay has a face, Amazon has a face. We are somebody who do not have a face. Why do I say that is, all the major telcos in India are our customers. When you browse through your mobile, or when you tweet through a mobile, in fact, you're using our own mobile data platform that sits in the network. When you send MMS clips to your friends over Vodafone network or any of your networks, it would be going through the code that's written by some of my colleagues sitting in the organization here. So that way, we are a face not known. We are known to only the telcos. In fact, there is a big word that's about mobile money. You would see a lot of advertisements about mobile money. So we have a lot more customers in LATAM, Africa, who are adapting to these new things. The concept of chit funds is implemented in terms of mobile money in Africa. So that way, we have a lot more consumers, which runs in terms of millions or billions of users. The business needs mobile data platform for browsing. There are individuals in the villages who never had access to desktop, but today they browse the internet through the mobile. So that way, there are a lot more challenges for us to optimize the existing solutions to do much better. The focus has to go towards features. The focus has to go towards building new features into the product or making it better or optimizing it. We do not have time for doing the house chorus activities. And one such chorus activity is the testing part of it, the regression part of it. It is treated with a much lower respect compared to the development. Still the industry treats, when you ask how many testing engineers you need, they say, okay, you don't need to pay as much as to the developers. In fact, testing is a very complex or very difficult activity compared to the development. You need to have a different mindset for it. Okay? So coming to the environment, we operate in very heterogeneous networks. We have Linux, Solaris platforms. We put them onto the different databases. So it's not like we have the same homogeneous environment. It's not straightforward. Some customers say we need it in Linux. We would like to put it on this existing hardware. We don't want to buy new hardware. So as engineering teams, we strive for on-time delivery and quality. Okay, why OTD for us? Because there is a Diwali coming up and you need to launch a new scheme, new plan. Just a week before, one of the business analysts or marketing guy comes with a wonderful feature. He says, I need this feature to go live during Diwali days. So how, as an engineering team, we need to sustain or create that feature and deliver so fast? OTD is something very important for us. It doesn't hold good, that feature, post-Diwali. It makes sense only during that window period. On the day of elections, it's very important to have that particular feature up and working. So next is the quality. If it doesn't work, there's no point in having that software. But still, we do have struggles. I admit openly that we have our own hangover lessons and sleepless nights. In fact, one of the software that we're right now working on is building the spamming firewall. There will be a lot of spams, SMS spams that you receive. So most of the operators want to build anti-spam software so that you don't receive those non-required messages. It's not about the non-disturbing or what you say, it's more of anti-spam software. So the work is in progress. So when you think about such kind of software, for us, the quality and on-time delivery is really important. There are regulators, there are compliances which they have to stick to. So for us, more than treating the problem, we have to treat it as an opportunity. So these are the concerns that we have. So from the first key takeaway, I would suggest all of you, think from your own teams, think from your own organizations, what is applicable for you? What is the challenge that you as a team have? We have on-time delivery and quality. These are the two things that we would like to focus in our teams. The moment we knew this, we want to go agile. So we were clear, okay, we want to go agile because agile helps us to do on-time delivery as well as focus on the quality. So what we did, we asked our teams to study what's agile and did enough number of trainings, then talked about the philosophy about why we be agile, and next one is how do we go agile. So this is the first phase of building an agile team, building an awareness that you need to be agile, and then taking up the next steps of how do we go about being agile. So most of the times you say it is not mentioned in this book, neither Ken Squabert talks about it or Martin Fowler talks about it, should we really need to do? I would say, do not think about what the industry leaders alone say. Question your own self, are we following any of the actions that we do? Does it comply to any of this Agile manifesto? This is good enough. This is the kind of Bible for us. Are we giving importance to individuals and interactions or process and tools? Saurav mentioned in the morning, the LHS is more important than the RHS. Whatever is there on the right hand side is essential, but more important is something on the left hand side. So working software, customer collaboration, and responding to change. So anything that your team members do, just ask, am I doing as per this manifesto? If that is okay, then it is part of being agile. The second key takeaway, iterate the agile adoption incrementally. So now we are all aware, okay, my team said, okay, we need to be agile. We need to do OTD and quality. That is, OTD is on-time delivery. So then we need to focus on key practices that are easy to adopt. And then review the outcome and adapt accordingly. Which is the most easiest practice of agile that is easy to adopt? Anybody? Scrum. So within Scrum, which is the most easiest thing to adopt? Daily stand-up. So let's check this survey from the version 1 7th annual Agile survey. The Agile techniques that were employed by different teams at different points of time, the one which are most widely adopted. So if at all you want to start something, being agile, you can as well start tomorrow, as simple as with a daily stand-up. So take something, one thing which your team is easy for them, easy to adapt, then move step by step. So that's where I said our journey towards being agile is an incremental one and adapt stage by stage. So morning Srinivas would have mentioned about Scrum, but so we're not really Scrum until we are totally done with all the activities of being agile. So there is nothing like you can be pure Scrum. Most of the times, 80% of times team will be doing Scrum, but so that's why I asked the question, how many of your teams are really agile? If they're saying Scrum, are they 100% Scrum? So with this, what we did was, we chose in our organization what is most suitable for us. So there are several, Agile is an umbrella. Most of the times, Scrum becomes a synonym for Agile. That's how people treat it. So Scrum is a management practice. It's easy to adapt because it gives a kind of still ownership to the team,